And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the always pressing PGA DFS podcast, previewing the 2024 Arnold Palmer Invitational, the API, great tournament at Bay Hill Country Club. There's also the Puerto Rico Open this weekend. We will not dive into that on this show, but if you have any questions, hit us up, Discord, whatever, and we'll give you our 2 cents on a crapshoot golf tournament. Before we get into all that, you can find me on Twitter at BDentric, the podcast at Always Press DFS, and my co-host, as always, on Twitter at DFS Golf Gods. Jesse, how are we doing, my friend?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. It's a Tuesday. We had some, I said technical difficulties yesterday, so we're here. We're making it happen. We could just screw it, but we're here.
We'll call it technical, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to call it, technical difficulties on that one. That might be remedied sooner or later. Let's put it that way. We'll see where that goes. But Cognizant Classic, another long shot winner on the season. It's getting beyond just what the F is going on here. So what are your thoughts? And the course played extremely easy early in the week, which was not that's not our Honda Classic.
Right. Yeah, I guess, new name, new-ish golf course. I don't know, man. I mean, it's just disappointing to see them play the same style of golf course week in, week out. Everybody get to double digits under par, and, it's just the same old shit. It just doesn't, I don't know, in the era of, needing to draw in more people, that I don't feel like they're doing that. Now, I could be wrong. I mean, obviously, we follow golf every week, so most people maybe didn't even realize that that the old Honda Classic, the old PGA National had been changed. But it was pretty evident from the, first, couple guys out on the golf course that it wasn't going to be, what it was. So, yeah. And then Austin Eckroat, I mean, who's winning this year is the sports books, because nobody's betting these guys.
Yeah, well, if you look on Twitter, everyone's betting them, Jesse. But
late,
I
after round 3, maybe.
Yeah, no, I 100% get what you're saying, because more often than not, and I like Feinberg's a great example, because to me he's more the realistic bettor in the world.
And he's good.
He's good, but he also sits there and he says he peppers like that 40 to 80 to 1 range, which I think makes sense from a gambling standpoint, especially with the old way golf used to be played. That's where you could really, figure it out. Because once you get to those triple digits, it literally is like, okay, good luck. They're all professionals, so anything can happen. But it's like, tell me you knew they were going to win,
right?
Okie doke. So
So
we'll see. Eckroat got it done. I laughed because EVR played great. They had to finish on Monday because they couldn't tell the weather the night before and start early with that.
That too, man. I mean, how do you not send them out in threesomes?
Yeah, and get it done off split tees at sun up. Like, you would have finished the tournament, no problem. Would have been easy. Would have been done deal. PGA Tour just continues to shoot themselves in the foot.
The crazy thing is, a lot of those guys, and some of them made it, and I would assume a couple didn't, but had to go play the Seminole Pro-Am on Monday. I mean, that's always scheduled after the Honda, so that's been scheduled forever.
EVR, who finished second because he had a monster Sunday, he had to stick around Monday just in case things got weird. He had to finish his round technically, but then he went to the Seminole and he won, I believe, the net portion of that tournament. So EVR's on a heater, folks. A heater.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, he was before the rain delay. I had an outright on EVR, so I was paying attention. And his front nine, I think he shot 29 on the front, which is just unheard of around PGA. 28 on the front, which is unheard of around PGA National. And then he cooled off on the back. But I think he, when he came back out, he was on 11 and then played about even par the rest of the way. So, yeah, that was frustrating to see that happen because, I mean, you in golf, you know what I'm saying? You go and you sit down and you start thinking about, I'm in the lead.
Oh, yeah.
Then you're starting to play a little bit differently other than just being out there and being in the zone. I mean, that sucks, man.
Yeah, it's golf is such a mental game. Like physically, most of them are similar. Obviously, there's some that are ahead of others. There's no question that. But majority of these guys can all on any given day go out there and probably kick most people's butts in this world of golf. It's those guys that can keep it together between their ears more. That can, like when you have that ugly bogey that like at 3-putt on the lip out, but you can go to the next tee and then pipe a 330 down the middle. Not everybody can built to do that, and that's the difference. Like you said, sitting around and like, did you kind of an off tangent here? But did you see the picture of Keith Mitchell coming back out on Sunday? I think he thought the round was over.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my kind of guy right there.
Yeah.
That's we've all seen that guy at the clubhouse at every
Yes,
golf
for
course you've ever
sure.
been to.
I
Every
got
golf
friends
course.
that are
Yes.
exactly like that. Yes.
We've seen all that. And that was just gorgeous to see like a professional got caught in the action thinking, oh, day's done. Nothing to worry, nothing to see here. And oops, still finished like top 5 somewhere, I think. I think he
Yeah.
played well, but
Yeah, he had a good week.
it was like you had some good names, but it's just the same rinse and repeat. I'm not going to complain because I like watching golf and keep playing DFS. It's wild, it's fun. It's just it would be nice, and we'll see if it's this week. That it's an elevated event. There's 69 golfers in this field. T50s and ties make the weekend, so it's similar to Riviera, the way we saw a cut, different type of cut, but similar. So we'll see. Does the cream rise to the top here, or do we still get some like questionable situations? And it just makes you wonder. Like Kitayama won here last. Well, you'll get to all that, but usually the cream rises to the top at this course, and that's the usual thing. But we've said that at other places. Last thing I'll mention before we talk API, real quick live thing. So Joaquin Neiman won again. Continues to look awesome. So he's got a Masters invite now, and then the PGA Championship. The PGA Championship, which surprised me because the first 3 letters in that thing, PGA, invited Joaquin Neiman to us as a special exemption. So just for shits and giggles, I guess, do you think we might see a little bit more? Like Gooch, I think, just shoots himself in the foot because he cries about it. But Neiman's out there kicking everybody's butt on the Asian Tour, Euro Tour, and the Live Tour right now.
Yeah, obviously the PGA Tour, PGA of America, 2 different entities. So, they can do what they want. I could see him getting an Open. Well, I mean, he can play his way into the U.S. Open. They all can play their way into the U.S. Open and the Open Championship. So, go do that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. I like having the best players in the world. Are we going to touch on Anthony Kim's return?
Go for it. Yeah. What are your thoughts on AK shooting, 76, 76, 74?
Yeah. I mean, there's I have some takes, but I don't really want to put them out in the world. I think you can tell the guy's been through some shit. Did you see his face?
Yeah, no, that guy, and he's admitted he had the partying and some addiction things. Like I don't think I've heard exactly what they were. Said he's cleaned up. He has a kid and a family, but you could tell he'd been through some shit over the last 10 years. Yes.
Yeah.
Like it feels like you're watching some of those movies where he's playing on a back room, dark lit pie gow table until 4 a.m. and didn't know where that was going type thing.
Yeah, it's beyond bizarre. But yeah, I still haven't seen. I saw one shot and it was a shank of his, and that's all I've seen. I've not sought out looking after highlights or lowlights or anything live golf really, especially since it's on at 3 a.m. I mean, if it was on Sunday, I would have turned it on and watched it, especially with Rahm and Joaquin being in contention or whatever. But yeah, the other thing that I thought was great too was the crowds.
Oh, dude, the videos that are coming, like yeah, the $600 million man with like 30 people watching him or whatever.
I mean,
that's why I want to go. I want to go when it comes close.
It would actually be fun.
I'm telling you.
When it comes to the States, like there's more people there.
Yes,
they have bigger crowds, but it's bizarre that they go play these places and nobody goes and watches them. Nobody.
Yeah,
can't even give away tickets. I guess. Where they even play this last
Jeddah? Jeddah is, I believe, over in like.
Is it Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, somewhere over there. India, Saudi Arabia, somewhere in that area. Yes.
Gotcha.
So I think that's probably one of those the people that pay for the league. This is one of the places they go type situations.
I gotcha. Yeah.
They're going to China next. I bet you they have a pretty decent crowd there.
Yeah, I could see them having
a good crowd. They have an okay Asian contingency, but that's where they need Hideki badly. I know he's not Chinese, but man, that's why they're continuing to just whatever you want, Hideki, we'll pay you.
Well, the other thing is like there's a billion people there, so there's
that helps too. That helps too. That is a good point. Good point math wise. That adds up to a higher probability.
Surely we can get more people than we had over, and
especially for free. If you just walk around, at least enough people will pick up the tickets and go. The thing, yeah, but I know everyone makes fun of Live, and rightfully so for many factors. I'm not going to try to like defend Live. But man, there are so many good golfers that if it were like that one weekend when nothing else was on, it was great. Like you mentioned, if it was on around like on a replay, I probably would have tuned in to check it out because at least at the end on their final third round every week, It seems like Rahm, Neiman, like there's at least 3 or 4 dudes you're like, okay, I could watch these guys battle. Like this is
Right.
fun. Like I'm in
Right.
for that. And that's what it's all about. And we're not getting that on the PGA Tour, even
Right.
with the guys they have. We're not getting the best battling it out on the weekend.
We're
So
not this year.
yeah, Liv's at least
all.
getting that. They're at least getting. It's not like it's rich. It's not like it's Richard Bland every weekend on there. They're
Right.
getting so. Yeah, like it sucks. That's the best thing I can say, and I don't know if it's getting any better anytime soon.
I'm with you.
But all right, let's talk API again. I mentioned elevated events, 69 golfers, T50s, and ties. What do you got for some past event history?
Yeah, like you mentioned earlier, Kurt Kitayama was a champion last year, 9 under, 1 shot over Harris English and Rory McIlroy. 2022 is Scotty Scheffler, 5 under, 1 shot over Hatton, Horschel, and Hovland. 2021, Bryson DeChambeau. One thing I saw, and it kind of did make me miss Bryson. I think it was Kenny Kim retweeted that shot that, remember when he hit that across the water, pond, and it was just like he was so pumped up and
like this sending it the GIF.
Yes. I missed that.
Basically greenside on a par 5 because he cut the entire water. It was glorious.
Right. That's missed.
Well, and isn't this the tournament? Was it this one or is it a different Florida one where they would the playoff and then JT cuts not the way Bryson cut the corner, but he cut a corner on water in a playoff, and it was just like you don't get those guys out there anymore. Just saying screw it, let's go. And,
yeah. It's unfortunate not to get to make fun of Bryson every week because I don't ever see his golf shots.
And he just did a whole YouTube thing with Paige Sporanic, so he's living the good life these days. It looks like.
You ever watch his YouTube?
No, it's awful. I have way more things to do.
11 under, 1 shot over Lee Westwood in 2021. Tyrell Hatton was the winner in 2020. 4 under, 1 shot over Mark Leishman. 2019, Francisco Molinari, 12 under, 2 shots over Matt Fitzpatrick. Rory, past champion. Jason Day, past champion. Tiger Woods has won this event 8 times. That's about all we need to know.
That's about all we need to know. It is Bay Hill Country Club, or Club and Lodge, however you want to look at it. This is where it's been forever. It's Arnie's place. Obviously, Arnie's not with us anymore, but this is a place where you get that beautiful red, I think it's cashmere sweater is what it is. I'm not a stylista, so I can't tell you all these things, but you'll know it when you see it because it's in every picture out there. Jason Daly, you mentioned, loves this place. I misspoke last week. This was in Orlando. This is where J-Day had the bad back and went to Disney World the next day. This is the one. It's a par 72 on 7,460, 70 yards, give or take, on the design of the tee boxes. Water is in play on 9 holes. What's fun about this golf course is you have like average size greens, but they're fast. They're fast for Bermuda sense, at least. And you also have very thick rough, usually close to 3 inches, which is more U.S. Open rough, not, let's just pitch and putt rough. So that's a big thing. So it really emphasizes, this golf course emphasizes fairways and a great approach game. And the way this fairways defense also works, lots of dog legs, lots of narrow parts of fairways and everything. So again, shot makers, but it doesn't allow you to just, obviously Bryson's done well here. Certain bombers can do well because they always say if you hit it farther, the shot out of the rough's easier because it's not as far, blah, blah, blah. But long iron play, like we saw last week, comes into play here in a big way. You have to be able to find the fairways in your long iron game, stick it on. Scrambling's a plus because bogey avoidance is big. Usually you get good, the scores we expected last week, and you'll get here as well, give or take. But overall, I'm looking for fairway finders, long iron players, scramble my butt off, and let's have some fun. So what are you looking at this week?
Yeah, very similar. Greens and regulation or approach, par 5 scoring, and then plenty of course history as well.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Course history, listening to, I think it was Mayo earlier this week. Maybe it was his preview pod over the weekend. He mentioned this is the 3rd stickiest course history course out there. It's Augusta, it's one other course, and then it's the API, and then it's Scottsdale, then it's Waialae. Can't remember what the second one is. It just brain farted on me. This is the 3rd stickiest course history course. So let's put it that way, which makes sense because there's not a ton of great long iron players. So if you're a good long iron player, you probably play well here. All right, let's do it. DK pricing here. 3 players, golfers, 10K and above. You got Scheffler with his new mallet putter at 11.3, Rory McIlroy at 10.6, and Cantlay at 10,000. Pretty strange for the price we've seen lately. We get no 5K range, given it's a 69 golfer field, and only 3 guys in the 10K range. So what do you see in here, Jesse?
Yeah, it's pick your poison. Scotty Scheffler obviously been playing. Scotty Scheffler great tee to green, terrible putting, but his worst finish this year was American Express. He finished 17th, coming off a 10th place finish. He's also past winner here. Worst finish was 15th in 2020, finished 4th here last year. Rory has the course history. The form coming in is not what you necessarily want. Back-to-back top 25s. I mean, not really great for Rory. So, it's Scheffler for me up top or Cantlay. 4th year last year for him, coming off a 4th place finish at the Genesis, 11th before that at Pebble Beach. So, but it's very clearly the price indicates who the best player in the field is. It's Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah, for me, and I forgot to mention the par 3s are all over 200 yards. So I'm looking at par 3s, 200, 225. And the par 5s, I totally screwed up on the preview here. The par 5s also, I'm looking at my model now. The par 5s are it's like the 5th or 6th on tour hardest group of par 5s on a golf course. So those are clutch par 3s, which is kind of long iron play linked into it, or pluses. And that's where this is interesting to me, looking at these 3. Because I'm with you. Scotty's the guy up here. If he can putt, he's been running away with everything. If he could putt, like he's first in good drives. He's 5th in bogey avoidance. He's 5th on the par 4s, 450 to 500, which is a good chunk of proximity from 150 to 175. He's 4th. Approach, he's 1st, so on and so forth. But when it comes to, again, 69 golfer field, par 3s, 200 to 225, he has 67th in the field. So somehow he's got a weakness, if there's any. That is it. I'd still be fine playing Scotty if you can. No problems there. Rory's current form just scares me. Like, he tore it up on the DP World Tour. Ever since he's come back to the U.S., it has been a rough go for Rory. Even last week, like you mentioned, doesn't even get a top 20, 21st, I believe, last week. And he's kind of, we just saw Eckroat win, and Rory McIlroy's 21st, not even T10 or anything. So it makes you wonder what's going on there with Rory. Could he show up? He loves this course, so who knows? And Cantlay, I just can't Cantlay. That's just a problem of mine, probably. So Scotty or bust, probably a bust. I'll probably come down to the 9K range. 9K range now, it gets fun. Victor Hovland, $9,900. Xander, 98. Ludwig, what do we decide it is now? Oberg. Yeah, I can't remember. $9,500. That was a couple. He had a week off, so I forgot now.
I forget.
Yeah, I forgot. It's a week off. It changed every week for like 3 weeks. So I don't remember what we're at right now. Jordan Spieth, 9,400. Burns, 93. Homa, 92. Morikawa, 91. And JT at 9K. Who you like in the 9K range?
Yeah, start up top with Hovland, $9,900. 10th, second in his last 2 appearances at this tournament, coming off a 19th at the Genesis. I'm hoping he's starting to get it going here. Really need him to start playing well, so that way the putter that I bought goes up in value and not down. Ludwig for sure at 9,500. 24th year last year. I mean, like, coming into this tournament, 19th, 2nd, 9th in his last 3 events. And those are 3 big boy events too. Like, those are not he's playing last week. He's only playing, besides the Sony Open this year, he's only played like $20 million purse events. It's pretty crazy, the rise for this guy. So I do like him. Jordan Spieth, man. So 4th and 4th in his last 2 appearances at this event, coming off a DQ at the Genesis Invitational where he signed an incorrect scorecard. However, he was actually playing pretty decent. He was going to be semi in the mix there. He finished 6th at Phoenix the week before that. So I'm hoping we get some good Jordan Spieth this week. Sam Burns, I mean, I've seen his name a lot in a lot of places already. The course history is okay. Miscut, 9th, miscut, 36th, 54th, 49th. 4 straight top 10s for him. A couple of even better finishes sprinkled in there. So, I mean, the form coming in is what you want to see, but I don't know that the course is it. And then JT for me, last but not least, down there at the bottom, 9,000. 202 made cuts here. He's only played her twice. 21st last year, 49th in 2015. He is coming off a miscut though at the Genesis where he was massive chalk. So, JT is JT, so I expect him to get it figured out.
Yep, we saw that coming. But I'll start back up the top here. Vic, I'm with you. Vic Hovland, $9,900, sixth to my model, third off the tee, first on the par fours, 450 to 500. Bogey avoidance, 15th. You'd hope a little better, but good drives, fifth. So I think it's a good spot. Vic, he struggled out there on the West Coast. Let's hope things come to fruition. I didn't pick Xander. I do want to mention, though, he's first on my model. He's coming in playing well, but the reason I did not pick him, if people wonder, course history, 39th and 24th. We got other guys here that actually played this course very well. I'm going to kind of lean that direction. Now I'm going to say Ludwig here in a minute, who finished 24th last year, but I think we can all agree that's a different story in this scenario. So I'm going to pass on Xander. If you take him, first in my model, congratulations. You probably won the golf tournament. Ludwig, I'm in here, though, because he's third in my model. Big fan. Everything you said, Jesse, I agree with. A couple other things that stood out looking at his stats over the last 24 rounds. His long iron play, he's second from 150 to 175 in this field. He's eighth in bogey avoidance, sixth in the par fours. But unlike Scotty Scheffler, he is first in par threes, 200 to 225. Like if you can play these par threes, like even par, you're happy as hell. If you can play these par threes somehow like a couple under par, that's going to give you a massive leg up on this field. So big ups there for Ludwig. You mentioned Spieth coming in some iffy form, but great course history. Sam Burns entices me. Fourth in my model, $9,300, first in bogey avoidance. We know he can pipe it, but also can keep it in the fairway with his short irons. I think it's like woods, just 3-wood and whatnot. Playing pretty interesting golf, all things considered. We saw him 10th at the Genesis, third at Phoenix, 10th at Pebble Beach. So I'm liking what we're seeing there from Burnsy. And we look at course history, though. Miscut 9th, miscut 36, 54th. So we've seen the 9th. We know it's there. Also some miscuts. GPP play with Sam Burns. Last but not least, I'll mention JT. I'm with you on him. I'll take the bounce back from Justin Thomas. He's playing such great golf. Genesis got him, which is really weird because it's a course he likes. I think he'll get it right after a couple weeks off. He's back home in Florida. Give me some Justin Thomas. And before we go to the next range, I want to ask you, because neither one of us said it, we're just going to wait for Max Homa to fix things, right?
Yeah, Max is for me right now. I mean, his course history is good. 14th, 17th, 10th, 24th. So if you just want to go straight off of that, then okay. 16th at the Genesis, it's okay, but like, yeah, I don't know. When I'm narrowing down the list of 9K guys, I had to eliminate somebody. I can't.
Yep, I did the same thing. I just want to bring it up there because I just want to let the listeners know, because we are Team Homa on this show, but he's got to get things right a little bit right now. 8K range, we got Willie Z at 89. Can't wait to see how chalky he is. Fleetwood at 88, Cam Young at 87, Fitz 86, Wyndham Clark 85, Hideki 84, Tom Kim down to 83, Jade A 82, Sahith 81, Sungjae and Russell Henley at 8K. Honestly, Jesse, I could see over half of this group winning this golf tournament. Yeah. So this is a fun 8K range.
So you mentioned how chalky Will Zalatoris is. What I'm looking at, projected ownership, is like low comparatively speaking to the rest of this range at 9%.
All the Willie Z then.
What are you showing?
Mine's not working right now. Yeah, it's not working.
Oh, technical difficulties.
Yes, this is something we talked about before the show, and this is really about to change things quickly.
So Will, for me, I already bet him on DraftKings. They've got a plus 300 boost that you can add on, which is fucking stupid. But either way, Will at $8,900, especially at like 9% owned, for me is most definitely in play. 3 out of 3 made cuts here. So 53rd, 38th, 10th. He did finish 10th in 2021. That was his best finish at this place, but steadily getting better. 34th American Express, goes to Farmers, 13th, 2nd Genesis. So yeah, $9,800 or $8,900 was Zalatoris. I'm definitely playing. Tommy Fleetwood. I mean, when you think of places that Tommy should like, it is this type of place where it's the scores are high, not low under par. He has had some success around here. He did miss the cut in 2020, but otherwise has made every cut since 2017. Finished, inside the top 10 a handful of times or 3 times. So I think Tommy's most definitely in play, coming off a 10th at the Genesis. And then Cam Young at 8,700. Last 2 years, 10th and 13th at this event, coming off a 4th place finish at the Cognizant. So I'm showing 9% on him too, and I just don't see how it's that low.
No, he's playing too good right now.
Yeah, and then Tommy at 23%. I feel like whoever's doing ownership projections on this site probably had some technical difficulties. Hideki Matsuyama at 8,400. He's another guy who I'm showing at 5% projected ownership.
Yeah, you got some massive technical. Well, actually, what I will say, I could see the 8K range getting skipped.
I mean, that's the only way, right?
That's the logic I could see, because we're going to get to Min Woo at 66, which is blowing up Twitter at his pricing.
Oh, no.
So you can go like Scheffler, a 9K guy, down to Min Woo and some 7s. You never touch the 8K range. And that could be why this actually might make sense price-wise.
It very well could, but I like Hideki at this price. Obviously,
range.
coming off a win. He did miss the cut here last year, but before that had made every cut since 2017. His best finish is 18th, but we're not trying to get him to win the golf tournament. $8,400 here. If he finishes out of the top 20 or 15, he's paid off. So I mean, there's other guys like Wyndham Clark, but it's such a limited field. I don't want to talk about everybody, so I'll leave some people for you, and you can go ahead.
No, it's all good. Willie Z, when I saw this price out the gate, without even loading up the model, I'm like, I'm playing this because I'm going to keep riding this guy. He's confident. He's looking like the guy before his back injury. You mentioned the 10th place finish here recently. The way he finished like second at Genesis, he keeps showing improvements. The back is healthy. He loves difficult golf courses like this should be set up. This is a Willie Z track 101. I love Willie Z this week. Cam Young, I'm on board too. Like usually I think of him as a Bombers course guy, but he's been kind of plodding along nicely of late. You mentioned a few things there with Cam, but last week, 4th at the Cognizant, 18th at Genesis, 8th at Phoenix, Pebble Beach, he blew up, but that's 3 really strong finishes there for Cam Young, and he's the 10th and the 13th here. Love that at $8,700 all day long. Fitz, he was on the fritz basically, but we saw things turn around a bit. 21st last week after he had like a rough weekend because he had a couple good rounds there. Great course history, like phenomenal. 14th, 9th, 10th, 9th, 2nd. Like, my God, you can't ask for a lot more there with Fitz. So there's 3 dudes right there. You mentioned Hideki. Only other guys I'm really thinking is I'm always going to have a soft spot for an affordable Sungjae at 8,000 just because his irons play when he clicks is elite. He hasn't put it together for 4 rounds lately. You've seen glimpses of it even last week. Just hasn't put it together completely. He's missed the cut because he fell apart late on Friday. So I get it if you want to pass on him. Henley's another good iron guy, not towards the top of my list. But I will mention Sahith Theegala. This is a guy, he's 15th in my model. He's first actually in putting over the last 24 rounds. He's 3rd in the par 3s we're looking at here. He's 15th for 200 yards plus. The long iron play is phenomenal for Sahith Theegala. And we obviously know recent performance, 37th, but 5th at the Phoenix, 20th at Pebble. So, 37th and 20th at 2 of the elevated events. And course history here, but 14th last year after a cut in his first ever trip here. So, market improvement, second time through here. So, Sahith's another one that, now like Willie Z, Cam Young, Fitz, Sahith, I could easily see me making at least one of my lines with 4 of those, like at least 3 or 4 of those guys, and having a field day to see what else I can build around that. There's a lot to like, even like win equity in this range compared to, I think, what's being given out there. But maybe I'm overthinking it. 7K range. We'll do it all together here. We got Poston, Pavon, who continues to play great golf. Kirk, Connors, Harmon, Siwoo, Jake Knapp played well again. Binion, Shane Lowry, Scott Cole, he had an oopsie last week. Bradley, Kitayama, the defending champion. English, Hogard, Jagerbombs, Hoagie, Fowler, List, Seabez. What do you like in this range?
Yeah, start up top there with Pavon at $7,900. Like you said, he's obviously playing very well. Won the Farmers a couple weeks ago, finished 3rd the next week at Pebble Beach, and then his last start was last week. He finished 28th. So I think he's definitely playable. Chris Kirk is actually one of my more favorite plays this week. So 28th last week, missed the cut to Genesis. Obviously won the Century months ago now at this point. And this is how you know that, well, course history is good too. 39th, 5th, 8th, 15th, 13th, missed cut 12th. pretty solid, especially for somebody at this price. But we got technical difficulties because he is projected negative 2.24% on what I'm looking at here.
Yeah, you're having technical difficulties for sure.
Yeah, so there's actually going to be nobody's going to play him, and there's actually more people who play him who don't even enter.
They're telling you he's withdrawing. That's what's taking place on this one.
What is going on here, man? That Monday finish. If the PGA just would have put everybody in threesomes and sent them out early. Corey Connors, dude. Like when you think like Tommy Fleetwood, Corey Connors, like ball striking paradises. We're just trying to make a bunch of pars and maybe get lucky and roll a birdie. And this is the type of place. Now he has had some success here, especially most recently. 21st, 11th, and 3rd in his last 3 starts, and hasn't missed a cut this year. So Connors, I think, is fine. Ben On was massive chalk last week, and actually 21st, not terrible. He withdrew here last year, but hasn't missed a cut at this event since 2016. Jake Knapp, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, obviously the guy figured it out. I tried to talk myself. I did talk myself out of playing him. It was like, he was hitting the ball bad for one round during the most pressure-packed round of his life. And so is he going to be able to figure it out? Yeah, he figured it out. Finished 4th last week, coming off the win. Never played here, but he's playable. Adam Scott, man, at 7,500. So played here plenty. Made his last 2 cuts at this event, 31st, 26, missed a cut in 2020, but had made 4 straight before that as well. And like his finishes this year, just kind of quietly going along 19th, 8th, 20th, 5th. I mean, pretty solid for Adam Scott. Kitayama at 7,300, defending champion. Jaeger, talk about him every week, 7,200. 52nd here last year. He missed the cut last week, but before that was 3rd, 71st, 3rd. So I think Jaeger's in play. Hoagie, bet him to top 20 last week, and he did not do that because you told me that. So you owe me, I think, $5. But finished 28th, not bad. I mean, the dude, like you said last week, was striping.
He was literally one birdie away from the top 20.
I know.
That was I was watching it too because there's dire work in the chat. He had Hoagie and he had Lowry both at like plus 200 plus odds, whatever, to top 20. And I was like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah, that would have been nice. But he's been around here enough. Miscut, 32nd miscut, 15th, 26th. Not necessarily what you want, but coming in, he is hitting the ball very well. So I think he is most definitely in play at $7,100.
Yeah, another good range here. Poston's interesting just because of his course history, but give me Pavon. I actually played him in a couple lineups last week. He was the only lineups I cashed him because of the way he's playing. And the reason I played him is watching his West Coast quote unquote dominance is his iron play was very, very good. And that's what's going to fit this Florida swing tremendously. He's only 32nd in my model, which seems weird, but he's 4th in strokes gained total, 5th in approach. Like he's 19th on the par 4s. He just does a lot of things really, really well. So around the green game is a little sketch, but I don't think he's needed it a lot lately. So I don't know if that really says a lot for his game. So I like Pavon. You mentioned Kirk's history. Connors is a guy I think we talk about, and I'll say every single show will say any iron course, Corey Connors should do well. Just doesn't seem to put it together. But he's like 6th off the tee, 7th in approach, 4th in good drives, 2nd from 200 plus, 13th from 150 to 175. Like he checks every like good thing out there. His putting's the worst in this field, not even Kane, 69th in this field. So that's crushing him. And he's horrible on the par 3s, 200, 225. So pick your poison with Corey Connors, but on paper should fit him well. You mentioned Benny On, $7,600. He is very enticing to me. You see that shot with the 1 iron this past week?
I did not.
Blew up Twitter. I'll send it your way. With Drew here, obviously, last time around, 3 straight made cuts prior to that. So Benny On at 76 is interesting. Okay, we mentioned some great course history in the 8K range, Jesse. Keegan Bradley's is ridiculous. 10th, 11th, 10th the last 3 years, 42nd, 46th prior to that. So Keegan likes this course. I think it's fair to say. We know how Keegan does on courses he likes. Did miss the cut at the Genesis, which was tough to do. 11th at Pebble, 49th at Farmers. So he's like not crushing right now, but this is a place that Keegan has done very, very well. English is a little enticing, good course history, but I like Hoagie. You mentioned him. He's 8th in my model. Phenomenal long iron player. He's 1st in the field at 200 plus. He's 5th from 175 to 200. He's 11th, so on and so forth. Does great in all those par 5s. He's 6th. He's so I like Hoagie at $7,100. I go right back to that T20 well. If you want to get your money back and some, I recommend that. And Seabass has played well here also, but if you need a flyer. 6K range, there's not that many, but I'm still not going to read them. So who do you like?
There's actually definitely some playable guys down here. Griot
I'll
at
say
16.
Minwoo Lee. Let's talk about him.
Yeah, we're going to talk about him. Griot at 6,900 there has made every cut here since 2016 except for 2020. Best finish was 7th in 2017, but coming in pretty good form. Hasn't missed a cut on tour since November. Has made them all this calendar year. Not great finishes necessarily. A couple top 10s, a couple top 25s, but at 6,900, that's pretty doable. So yeah, Minwoo at 6,600, 2 straight miscuts here, coming off a second place finish last week. Or you can play EVR at the same price, who's actually made a cut here. He did miss his last cut, which was 2022. He made the cut in 21, finished 57th, and finished second last week, and 8th the week before that. So, I mean, like, to me, that's the pivot. Like, I don't know. I feel like Minwoo is going to be high owned, and maybe rightfully so, and it might burn me, but I'd rather play EVR, especially in big tournaments, just because I, either finish first or a lot of lasts. And then last for me, 6,200, Valimaki, old Sammy here. He did miss the cut last week, 75, 7 or 67. So started terribly, did back it up pretty well in the second round, but coming off that second place finish, the dude's got the length. I think he's got the game to potentially have some success to at least, get inside the top 50 or whatever he needs to this week.
Yeah, Griot, 100% with you on this one at $1,600. It was like just crazy looking at his overall history here. He just really likes the API. At least recently, 39th, 21st. He DQ'd in 2020, but if you go deeper, there's like a lot. I saw some tweet about like some of the best course history in this field. He's in the top 5 overall in course history at this golf course. So Griot loves this place, and he's playing pretty decent golf. He's making cuts like crazy. So I'd expect that to happen again over the weekend. But I'm with you. The EVR Minwoo thing is fun because, like I said, I saw the tweets before I even looked at pricing. Minwoo was everywhere. And I get it because on paper, he was playing really well last weekend, and we know who he was. He was having a phenomenal fall/winter on Euro Tour. People were pumped to see him here. But then you have EVR, like you mentioned. And I think I'm with you on EVR. We've been riding this train for a while now. You were on it before I was, and then I've jumped on. It's been pretty darn awesome. EVR's 13th in my model. Minwoo's 50th in my model. Minwoo's first on the par 5s in this field of the last 24 rounds. EVR's second. That's a fun one. But that's about everything else is kind of pointing EVR's direction when I'm looking at my stats here. So I would take the EVR pivot for sure. I wouldn't be shocked if Minwoo does a heck of a job this week. So if you want to play both of them and get all the guys up top, knock yourself out. P-Raj, though, that might be your pivot at $6,500. It's enticing to me for the fact that miscut last year, but then 36th, 57th, 24th, 46th, 4 straight made cuts prior to that. He finished 6th in Mexico, miscut of the Genesis, Pebble 79th, 9th at Farmers. So nothing great. But the beautiful thing right now is he's $6,500. We've had to pay a lot of money for P-Raj lately. So getting a cheaper P-Raj, that's where things get enticing. I will mention, though, if you want some other punts, and you're just talking course history alone, which I think is kind of what I'm looking at in this cheaper range. Brendan Todd's made 4 straight cuts here, T39 last year. You have Taylor Moore's made both cuts here, 39th and 42nd. A guy I actually like quite a bit at $6,200 is Adam Schenk, 31st, 42nd last 2 years, 29th in 2019. And Schenk is coming off a 56 last week, missed cut 17th at Phoenix. He's made 4 out of his last 5 cuts. So I think Schenk is fun. And Justin Lauer missed a cut here last year in his first appearance, but he's a guy playing some pretty strong golf. Missed cut last week, 3rd at Mexico, 53rd. But Shank's kind of my punt at 62 is what I'll have to say. All right, let's recap things real quick. 10K and above, who are you liking?
Scotty.
Scoots, yep, can't blame you there. 9K range.
I'm going to say Ludwig.
Yeah, that's the dude. Since you took Ludwig, I'll take Sam Burns. Give me Sam Burns, the GPP play. 8K range, I want all of them. But who are you picking?
Zalatoris.
Yeah, Zally's the dude, and I'll take Cam Young as like the 1B to his 1A. That's just an amazing fun start there. 7K range. Who you like?
Chris Kirk.
I'll go with Matthew Pavon, with an honorary mention to Keegan Bradley. 6K range.
Eric Van Rooyen.
Yeah, we're not going to mess around with this. We're both taking EVR on this one. Let's plant the flag on the EVR train.
I like it.
But I'm just pray to God if I ever get ownership. I'm looking on Wednesday to hopefully see that if somehow EVR is like predicted for 25% and Minwoo's at 6, well then we might have to have another conversation on that. But that's to be determined. All right, if you are building a GPP lineup this week, but I'm going to give the disclaimer for the other half. How are you starting things out?
I got Will Zalatoris, Adam Scott, and EVR.
Yeah, I'm going to go Willie Z, Cam Young, and EVR. You can have whatever you want with that build. So enjoy. And then what are we looking at on the betting market here, Mr. Jesse?
Yeah. So we got the EVR top 20, EVR to win. Who did you say? Hogue top 20? You already said that?
I'd go back to that wheel.
All right. I'll go ahead and
I wonder what he's at though in this field. So like Minwoo Lee to top 20 is plus 140, but he's $6,600. That is hilarious.
Yeah, it's because he's just been getting probably hammered down. Yeah. To win the actual tournament, like I said, I already bet Will Zalatoris.
Yeah, Hoagie's 210 again. Nice.
I mean, I got half a mind to bet Ludwig at 18 since I've talked him up so much. I'm gonna have to just at least place a wager of some sort on him. I know that I don't like 18 to 1, but I might be able to get it better on.
Could be it for him though, if he can, because the way he can drive the ball straight, this is just built for him.
Yeah. And Kirk at 55, and then the top 20 on him is on there too. So that's all I got.
Yeah, I'm looking at top 20s at plus 200 or better. Hoagie at 210, Pavon at 220, because Pavon is the real deal in my mind. And then if you want just a suit, like, Rosie's here at 280. That's interesting. But
he's missed the last, I was looking at him because he was down below 6K, and I was like, wait. And then I looked, and he's missed the last 5 cuts in a row here. So it's
struggle busting it. So those are probably my two, my favorites in the plus 200 range would be Pavon and Hogue. I'm with you on the Ludwig thing. I think that would be your angle to win the darn thing. It's funny, they have top 30s in this. They even have top 40s in a 69 golfer field. So I don't know how much plus money you guys plan on winning, but you can have some fun here. Keegan at plus 170 is also one I don't mind the top 20 with his course history here. So those are the 4 plays I like, because I can't gamble on California because California is fun. It's almost as fun as my technical difficulties. So any final thoughts for the API this week in Puerto Rico? I'll have some thoughts at some point in time. Just don't have them right now because technical difficulties.
Yeah, I don't. This is obviously a fun golf tournament to watch, and so that I hope that we can get a good finish. But isn't next week the Players?
I believe we have 2. I thought we have a break because it's in 2 weeks because we have it's Valspar, I believe.
Nope, the Players is next week.
Is it really? So we have elevated events in back-to-back weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, PGA Tour. You guys can't help yourselves. You just cannot.
Then the Valspar the week after.
Then
we go Texas swing, and then we'll be at the Masters. So about a month away, a little over a month away.
These elevated events, you dum-dums. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they've really packed them into this beginning of the season. But then you got you have nothing from the Players to the Masters as far as elevated events. Then you have the RBC 2 weeks after the Masters. And then Wells Fargo about 4 weeks after that. Then the PGA Championship. So there's a few more, obviously, but
interesting.
They have packed them in to the beginning of this year.
Bold strategy, Cotton. Bold strategy. But all right, we'll see where it goes. We'll have some fun this week as usual. And the Players is an absolute fun disaster is the best way to say it. We'll enjoy. Hopefully the weather's good because that was annoying last time. It's fun to watch, annoying for DFS purposes. But until then, you can check out Jesse on Twitter at DFS Golf Cause, the podcast at Always Press DFS. I am on Twitter at BDentric. This was your 2024 Arnold Palmer Invitational Preview. Catch you all next time.